To get started with PowToon, you're going to select Create a New Project. Once you create a new project, you're going to choose a look. I'm going to go ahead and go with Professional, but you can choose another one and it might just have some different features. Here's the storyboard, so you guys already have a storyboard, but if you wanted to create something here, you could make it more computer interactive. And then just press Continue up in the right hand corner when you are ready to move on. You can skip this section if you want to, since we did it on paper. So it's just going to go ahead and load, and let's see. Okay, so I started with a blank canvas. There's nothing here. So we can go over to the right hand corner, and then here is where you can choose a layout if you want to, but I'm just going to start from scratch and see what they have. So here you can choose a background. There's different pictures you can choose. You can upload your own photo or you can pick a color. So I'm going to pick a color. I'm going to choose another color. Okay, so now we can go and add some text, and here I'm going to switch on the timeline. So the timeline is where you are going to do the majority of the edits to your video. So the right side is a toolbar where you add everything, and then here is where you adjust the time here. So I'm adding seconds, taking away seconds. The red thing is where in those 10 seconds the content's going to be. So we'll play around with that, don't worry. So I'm going to go ahead and add some text. Let's say, Happy Thanksgiving. Okay, so once you've written your text, up here is where you're going to find all of your text options, the font size, the color of the font. So, seeing if there's a font that has a Thanksgiving feel. Not really, but we'll just stick with this one. Okay, so here's the font size. You can change this however you want. Again, you can bold, underline, italicize, choose a new color. And then here are the effects. So in PowToon, you can add animation to most things, including the text. You can have it where a hand comes out and writes your text, the letters bounce, there's plain text, it twirls, it appears. So be careful when you're choosing one of the effects. They can be really, really cool, but they can also be super distracting. So let's preview this, press this play button, and start from time 0, and then here. So a hand came out and wrote Happy Thanksgiving on my slide. So that's the effect. And then the library is going to give you a bunch of different cartoon characters or emojis, different things you can type up in the top here in the search bar, and it'll give you the characters that they have. So the ones with the lock you can't use without premium effects, but plenty don't have premium effects. So I'm just going to put in a bunch of animation that has to do with Thanksgiving. Nice little hat. Okay, so here's the animation settings. Here is where you can say, no, I don't want this hat to move, or I do want it to. Here I can make it turn left or right. The hat, it doesn't really matter if it's left or right, but sometimes it will. And then right now it starts at time 0 along with the text. And it comes in as a pop. Sorry. So let's say I want it to come in at time 2 seconds. So the text comes in and then 2 seconds later, or 4 seconds later, the hat pops in. So we can preview what that looks like. Writes out Happy Thanksgiving, and then at 4 seconds the hat pops in, and it's shaking because we added that animation, but we could take it away if we want to. Alright, so I'm going to add some more features that are Thanksgiving-ish. A turkey, of course. And then I'm going to make that turkey come in at a different time than the text. I want it to come in a little bit later, but before the hat. And then a basket. And that'll come in after the hat with the animation. So here's a preview of that. So it's going to write out Happy Thanksgiving and then turkey, hat, basket. So you see I put it in the order of how I want these things to display on the timeline. It's really cool. So let's go to another one, and then on the left you see that there's multiple slides, kind of like in PowerPoint. So you'll be familiar with that. So I'm going to change the background to this one. And change one of it to one of the pictures that they have for free. Let's go ahead and choose this one. So under objects is where you're going to find a lot of shapes and lines. So let's go ahead and choose one of these characters. So we're going to take this guy out here and give him a speech bubble. So then we can edit this speech bubble to work for us. And then right now the speech bubble is covering his arm. So I'm going to right click it and send the speech bubble to the right, and now his arm is on top of that speech bubble. Just, it's a detail, but it'll look nice, especially when you're adding a lot of things to the slides. I'm going to add what he's going to say. Hey, this is Tom. Now everybody knows. You can just move his text right into the speech bubble where we want it to go. Okay, so now that everything's in here, we can adjust it to have the exact time, and then if you click this button, this is how the text or how the object is going to come in, either from the right, from the left, pop in, fade in slowly, so you can choose different effects. So Tom, he's going to come in from the left, or from the right. I guess he's coming in from the left, going to the right. So if we preview this, oh, he's already there because we started at time 0. So let's move him in so that he comes in at 0.5 seconds, and you can see him come in from the right. And then same with the text and the words. Cool. So those are different features, and it kind of plays along with what you want. Now we can have multiple things happening in this 10 seconds. So I am going to move Tom, his speech bubble, and his words, and they are going to start to fade out at time 4.5 seconds. So now all of it will be over at 4.5 seconds. If we preview that, we'll see that. And then at 5 seconds, they're gone. So at 5 seconds, I'm going to start adding new things. So under objects, you can add graphs. I highly recommend, if you're going to use a graph, you use something with the correct numbers. So on the top, it gives you like an Excel spreadsheet, and you can use actual numbers. Be careful using this because it's kind of a lot of information to take in during a video, but kind of cool. So I'm going to throw in my graph and then give some text of why it's in there. So this text isn't all that informative, but obviously yours would be if you were going to use this feature. And then have it adjust. So now we can see what the whole 10 seconds looks like. Tom, Tom's words, and then see you, Tom, here's his graphs. So that can just make it more consistent because things are coming in, coming out, in the time that you want it, but make sure that you've got it going. So here's transitions. Between slides, you can add different transitions. This slides to the right like that, or you can have it swirl in or out. So play around with this. Don't make it too much. Choose one that's going to work for you. So this is kind of a lot of things going on, but I'm going to go ahead and use that twirl. Go to a new slide. And then, so here you can upload your own images. You can also use images that they already have. So I'm going to search for a cowboy. And then at the top you see those, I don't like cowboy. Let's type in puppy. Okay, much cuter. So at the top there's premium ones that you have to buy, but on the bottom they're free Creative Commons, and it'll tell you the licensing agreement for those when you click on it. So I chose this dog, gonna put him in here. Let's start from the beginning and see what it looks like. So transitions, hey, I'm Tom. Now 4.5 seconds, hey, I'm Tom's graphs. And then at the end of this 10 seconds, we've got that transition and it goes into our picture. So if we wanted to add sound, we can do a voice recording, a voiceover, we can upload our own stuff, we can use their music library, we can upload our own music. So this is where you're going to take care of all of that. And then press this eyeball to preview it. So this is what our entire video looks like now. Happy Thanksgiving! 10 seconds later, we've got Tom for 4.5 seconds, and then his graph comes in, and then the transition, and we've got our pup. So once you've previewed, if you're happy, go ahead and export it and choose YouTube. It's free to upload these to YouTube, and we can upload a YouTube file to our WordPress site. So the last step is to put in your own YouTube account and press next, and you're done.